Hey guys, this is Adam. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the story about the first time that I met my dog, Rocky. So, the first couple of years of my marriage, my wife and I lived in an apartment. And in the apartment, you're allowed to have pets, but we kind of strayed away from that idea because there wasn't so much room to have an animal coexisting with us, and we didn't have a yard for him or anything. So we kind of refrained from having a pet while we lived in the apartment. So a couple years into our marriage, we ended up renting a home from a family member of mine. And when we ended up renting, one of the first things that we wanted to do was get a pet, and actually took a little bit of convincing from my wife to get a dog. I had grown up with a lot of pets, but she had never had, like, as a kid, she never had a dog or a cat or anything like that. And I grew up with a ton of animals. So as an adult, I was like, man, it's just another thing to worry about, you know. But my wife really wanted to get a dog. So she started looking online at animal services with the city, and she had found a couple of listings, like maybe six or seven different dogs that she wanted to go look at. So one Saturday morning, we jumped in the car and we went down to Animal Services, and we were looking for a little house dog, a little small doggy. And I remember we walked in, had somebody kind of help us out, and my wife mentioned to them that we had noted down a couple of listings, and it was like just one after the other. They were like, "Oh, that doggy's gone. It's been adopted," or that dog was picked up by the owners. So just like one after the other, it was we were just striking out. And one of the listings that she had taken in, it was like the last one that they had left. They were like, well, that dog's still here, but that little doggy is like psychotically aggressive. So we went ahead and passed, and we were all out of listings. But the person helping us out tells us, you know what, actually, we had little doggy come in, I think it was that day or the day before. They're like, let me see if that dog is available still, and we'll go ahead and bring him out to you if he's available. So my wife and I were in this, it's like a little gated area that they have, like a little pen for people to kind of meet with potential rescues. So they had us wait in this little area. They sat us on a bench, and I remember it was a guy helping us out. Sure enough, a few minutes later, he walks out uh, carrying this little doggy. It's this shaggy little white and gray dog, and he walks in a little pen area, and it was like I can just remember it to this day. He put our dog down on the floor, and the doggy kind of went underneath us on the bench and sat. He was like so sad looking and so like afraid looking, this little doggy that he brought out. And of course, my wife and I just immediately fell in love with this little animal. And sure enough, a couple of moments later, he kind of popped out from underneath the bench and started giving us, little licks, little kissies that we call nowadays. Um, so we ended up rescuing this dog. We adopted him. We ended up naming him Rocky. So I remember that we had to wait a couple of days since he had just been taken in. We had to wait to see if he was going to get claimed. So I think we went in on a Saturday, and they had given us until like Tuesday morning to see if anybody had come in looking for him or claiming. So for like 2 days, 2 straight days or 3 straight days, my wife and I were just, at the edge of our seats, waiting to see if we were gonna be able to adopt this little doggy. And Tuesday morning, I remember we were probably both at work, um, but my wife got the call, and then she called me up and she said, "Hey, we got him." So we were super happy. We went and picked up our doggy. We the same day that we adopted him, we went to PetSmart and we went crazy. We bought like a doggy bed and we bought food and treats and toys and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we ended up adopting our little doggy who's been with us now for I think over 5 years. But the funny thing is that same week, Animal Services gave us a week, I believe, of free vet care. And when we adopted him, they actually gave him to us neutered. So the day we got him, he had just been neutered and he was kind of out of it. He was still a little medicated and everything. Um, so he was very lethargic and very like chilled out and just sleeping a lot and stuff. And little by little, a few days went on and he started coming to life a little bit more. But we noticed that he had a cough, and I guess it's pretty common in these kind of facilities. They can get like kennel cough. So I guess it was the following week, and we went ahead and took Rocco in to see the vet. And I'll never forget this. When we arrived, there was another person outside of Animal Services. They hadn't opened yet, but there was a guy outside with a pit bull, and the pit bull was sick. And I think he was like carrying the pit bull like a baby, even though it was like a full size pit bull. But this pit bull is like 10 times Rocky's size. And I think this is the first interaction we actually ever saw him do with another dog. And all week we had been at home with Rocky. He had been like all sweet and innocent and everything. And we bring him up next to this pit bull, and he starts off by growling at this pit bull, and then he starts barking at him, and this vicious looking pit bull just starts like whining, like crying, like, what is happening here? Like, our little doggy is intimidating this scary looking pit bull. And right then and there should have been our giveaway to the personality that our dog was going to end up having. Even though he's a little like 8-pound little house doggy, he's got just the biggest personality you could ever imagine. So but I'll never forget that first week, or that first initial meeting with our doggy Rocky. Yeah, I thought it was a very unique thing, when we took him back and he started barking at this pit bull. So it just went to show that should have been the red flag right there for what was to expect from this doggy. But sure enough, years later, he's our baby. So but yeah, that's the little story I wanted to share with you all, the story of our first meeting with Rocky the dog. So yeah, thanks.